Is it recorded?
Here we go. Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Miracle Network's Wednesday meditation. I'm so glad you're all here to share this time together. Today we have Cate Grieves who will lead us in meditation. Then we'll have 20 minutes of silence. After that, we'll open it up for sharing, and we end at 10:45. Over to you, Cate.
Okay, lovely to see you all and wishing you a really beautiful, peaceful Wednesday morning. So today I felt just guided, decided to go for a meditation along workbook lesson 93, Light and Joy and Peace Abide in Me. So I'm just going to read a couple of paragraphs, 7 down to 9, and we'll just go into the meditation where we repeat to ourselves, this light and peace and joy abide in me, and my sinlessness is guaranteed by God. So salvation requires the acceptance of but one thought, that you are as God created you, not what you made of yourself. Whatever evil you may think you did, you are as God created you. Whatever mistakes you made, the truth about you is unchanged. Creation is eternal and unalterable. Your sinlessness is guaranteed by God. You are and will forever be exactly as you were created. Light and joy and peace abide in you because God put them there. In our longer exercise periods today, which would be most profitable if done for the first 5 minutes, we'll do it for 20 minutes. Begin by stating the truth about your creation. Light and joy and peace abide in me. My sinlessness is guaranteed by God. Then put away your foolish self-images and spend the rest of the practice period in trying to experience what God has given you in place of what you have decreed for yourself. You are what God created, or you are what you made. One self is true and the other is not there. Try to experience the unity of your one self. Try to appreciate its holiness and the love from which it was created. Try not to interfere with the self which God created as you by hiding its majesty behind the tiny idols of evil and sinfulness that you have made to replace it. Let it come on its own. Here you are. This is you. And light and joy and peace abide in you because this is so. So if you would like to just go into the 20-minute meditation period, really focusing on what we are, and light and joy and peace are the fruits of what the Spirit is, what God is. So God is love and also happiness. So this light and joy and peace are the fruits of the experience of being one with God. So our sinlessness is guaranteed by God because God created us sinless, pure, immaculate. And so let us have those thoughts in our mind as we quieten our mind and really open ourselves to accept our true identity as this holy self that God created us as. And that self has light and joy and peace, and they abide in me. Let's try to get in touch with that and have the experience of it. Thank you.
Open your eyes and come back into the room. We have 20 minutes left for sharing your reflections and your questions. If you'd like to speak, raise your hand, or you can use the electronic hand at the bottom of your screen. Who'd like to share? Cate, take yourself off mute.
I was just going to say that I really love this lesson. I just really love the lessons where it just really points us to the truth of ourselves. Because the course is kind of, undoing part of our mind and really trying to get us into, the light, the joy, and the peace. And I also love the second sentence, my sinlessness is guaranteed by God. It's really nice when you really repeat that slowly and you really feel into that sinlessness, that, you're really falling into that experience of the purity and the sinlessness. I just wanted to say that because sometimes it's very easy to read these lessons and really read them fast and kind of go, repeat them really quickly to get them done. So, yeah, I've done the lesson. But if you can, when you go through the lessons, if you can really read the sentences really slowly and repeat them really slowly, you really kind of marinate in your mind, and there's always like a little experience of it. So I thought it's just nice to say again.
Thank you, Cate. It's beautiful. I like marinating. That sounds like fun. Okay, Kirsty, would you like to share?
Thanks, Anne. Hi, Cate. Thank you for doing
Hi,
this.
Kirsty. I didn't see you there. Nice to see you again.
Yes, and you. This is really wonderful that you've been doing this lesson particular. I suppose all lessons are pretty much the same, aren't they? But I suppose that for me today, this is so perfect because it's something that I've really been working with recently on not being Kirsty, the separated self who thinks that there's some kind of issue that I've got to fix, but actually being peace and light and joy. And so there's nothing to fix. And from there, anything that needs to be done will arise, kind of thing. And what I found there was just repeating what Jesus asked us to repeat. I'm still in ego. I'm still kind of there thinking there's something that's got to be fixed. And I don't think I'm peace and light and joy, and I need to. So if I repeat this like a mantra, then it's going to, get in. And then what I did find is I didn't exactly fall asleep. It felt a bit like falling asleep, but I didn't fall asleep. I was still very conscious, but it was almost like I just went to a different sort of consciousness, like a kind of trance-like state in the meditation. And as soon as that happened, then I let go of the separated Kirsty self and identified with the peace and light and joy. But I had to do that in order I had to slip into that trance, I suppose, in order to actually achieve what Jesus is asking us to achieve. I don't know if that makes sense to you, Cate.
Yeah, thank you for that. That's lovely. Yeah, we kind of put names to trance or something, but it's really hard to put words to these experiences. And it could have actually been a good thing we were dropping below the egoic mind. And then you were able to get those experiences. So You know, sometimes people that I'm talking to people or messaging with people and they're saying, this happened, it's the ego. And I'm like, no, actually, that's anything that, you know, comes from, brings some sort of peace or love, experience of love or clarity. It's not the ego. They're not the egoic mind, part of our mind. So, you know, it might have been that trance thing that you're saying. It sounded like you might have been thinking that it wasn't right. Sometimes it's good just to not label anything and kind of get out of too much analyzing about it and just kind of just stay with the feeling that I did have an experience of it. It's always nice. Just to really keep it really simple. I did have an experience of peace, love, and joy. And yeah, it's probably good to put that terminology that, yeah, they're separated. So the separated self is just a thought system. It's just a thought system of judgment, of comparisons, of, you know, just a commentator on what seems to be our lives. It's like the football commentators, you know, it's like it's commentating on us all the time. That's what the ego is. It's just the commentator on our life. It's kind of looking out, looking back. It's kind of got a lot to say. It's a big puff of nothingness. It really is. It's just nothing. So
Yeah, it's really amazing to know when you say that, Kate, you know, don't analyze. And it's such a simple instruction, isn't it? That the ego analyzes, the true self accepts. It's so simple, couldn't be simpler. But there am I analyzing my experience. The ego just gets in, doesn't it? It's just so
yeah,
crafty,
and
it just gets in.
yeah, but the more you sort of sink down into that love, peace, and joy, the less the ego is there to analyze. But for a while, you know, that's what happens. And it's just noticing it, noticing that it's analyzing. It analyzes all your spiritual experiences too. And, you know, and compares and this, that, and the other. It's just but one thing about the ego is really, I love when Jesus says it just can't hold a button up, can't stop a feather falling. It's got no power. Because, you know, some people start to really make the ego into a big thing as if it's a big boogeyman. You know, it's just a thought, and it's just a thought, and you can change a thought. And if you just realize that, it's very simplified. You just need to change. It's only one thought, and you can change it. I don't know whether that's helpful, but
It's really helpful. Thank you, Kate.
Who'd like to share?
thank you.
Norman, take yourself off mute.
Yes. Thank you, Kate. I had a strange meditation in the fact that my mind wouldn't settle down. The ego was in most of the time until at the end, towards the end, I thought I would just, because I know that there is peace and love and joy abides in me. I've been there, done it, wore the t-shirt, I can't stay there. And I thought, well, I just asked God for help. And there was a peace descended, like a big blue sky, surrounded by golden clouds. And it was very, very nice and settling. And then the bell went. So, and just, I thought I'd just stay here for a while, and I did. and just quietly listen to what people were saying. And then I thought, well, I better just look up, make sure 93 I've got the right one. And unfortunately, what caught my eye was the very first paragraph. You think if anyone could see the truth about you, he would be repelled, recoiling from you as if from a poisonous snake. And that's just the way I felt. So it sort of brought me back down to earth with a bang. You know, what a way to start a lesson. And it's just immensely true, because that's exactly the way I was feeling before I came across this volume. And that really shook me. But the fact that I can ask for help and I get it makes it all worthwhile. So it sort of shook me back into my true self again, that the one I was relating to, which was very, very, very real. I didn't want anybody to see what I was really like. I hid it so well, but that's where I went totally wrong all my life, because that wasn't me. As you say, it's just a thought, but it's a very effective one for people that don't have the course just yet. It's just crazy how it hits it right on the nail on the head. This is it. This is what you are, or at least this is what you think you are. And to realize that, you know, that is unbelievably kind and gentle. You might start off with a bit of a face what you are, and then realize it means absolutely nothing. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Norman. I couldn't hear what you said, but I got the kind of gist to it. Plus, it's a bit hard to hear through your accent as well. I don't know whether it's hard for you to hear through mine as well. Sometimes it can be. Yeah, that's a really good paragraph. I hadn't actually read that for a while, because when I went to this lesson, I was actually opened it on the following page and read the lesson. That is just so true. You know, everything in this book is just like pointing us. I mean, this is so wonderful that it just points it out and gets us to notice this, gets us to notice and kind of bring it out, because that's what the course is about, is bringing the darkness to the light. And what happens is when we have these these dark thoughts, that if anyone could see the truth about me, you know, they'd be repelled. So I've got to put on this fake self, this innocent self. But, you know, it's this belief in a sinful self. They're like, gosh, if they could see me like I'm experiencing me. So we're always trying to, you know, as he says, put on that face of innocence. And yet by writing about it like this, it's like then you see that every single person in this reading this is experiencing exactly the same thing. And it's kind of like putting the light on it. So many people think their ego is so much worse than everyone else's. And it's like, same ego. Everyone here has the same ego. Everybody's ego is doing this, telling them they're sinful. It's a thought system based on guilt and sin and fear. And it's like just regurgitates the same message in all different ways, uses different words. It's like that's why we live in hell. So just seeing this and going, oh, okay, so if he's writing it here, everyone that picks up this book is going to have this in their mind. So that's one thing that helped me was to see, because what the ego says is that I've got all this sin in me. I've got all this unworthiness but it looks out and it says everyone's having a happy life. Everyone's got it together. Everyone's doing, happy, getting on with things. And the ego's always like, you're the one that's messed up. And that's its ploy. And then when we come to these kind of sections in the course, it exposes it. And this is really good because as we read it, we can contemplate. Everybody has this experience. It's like we're all drinking from the same well of water. We're all drinking from the same ego thought system. Everyone has this. Everyone you meet has this thought system. And everybody has the Holy Spirit's answer. So this kind of shifts it a little bit when you realise that you're not. It kind of takes that sting out of the tail, where it's kind of going, you're mucking up. You can't do well at a job. You can't make life work. You can't do this because when you're in the ego. The ego's telling you to find stuff in the world to get happiness. Jesus says it's got its plan for your happiness, and you're like a little donkey following a carrot and never getting there. You're always seeking and not finding. Anyway, I better stop talking because once I get on a roll, But isn't this wonderful? Thanks, Norman, for pointing out that section. That's great. It's exposing the ego, right? Looking at it, and it minimizes it in our mind when we see, actually, not only am I not alone in having these thoughts, but they're not true because my sinlessness is guaranteed by God. And if I can accept that, wow, I'm free, aren't I? If I can accept that I wasn't created as a body, I was created as pure Holy Spirit, holiness and love and peace and joy. That's what I am. And when you have the experience of it, you are that experience. So you go, people say, I'm not awake. And I'm like, well, if you have this experience in that moment to your true self, even if you only have, a few minutes of it, you experience it. So you get more and more experiences like that as you go along. And you're in God, because that's what God is. God is love, peace, and joy. So you're in God. So God's not a mysterious thing. And I just want to say one little thing. That the only belief we need to undo is the belief we're separate from God. So if we can come to God, if we can join with God in our mind, the separation is over. You're joined with God. So that's really like a very simple message about, because the course can be so convoluted, but that's a message the Holy Spirit's giving me to give out. Try to come to God, come into, because it is love and also happiness. So it's God is love, peace, and joy. So if you can experience that in this meditation, you're joined with God. The separation's over. But you also have to not hold a grievance. So that's the whole point. Thanks, Mel.
Anyone else before we close up? Dennis.
Any more questions? Any
Dennis,
comments?
up off mute.
Yes, Den.
Like Norman, I've got a few T-shirts, but it seems that I almost get there, peace and love, and then something massive happens, and it's a bit like snakes and ladders. I have to start all over again. What am I doing wrong?
You're judging your advances and retreats. You're judging how much you're the ladder, and then you're judging that you're the snake. So I would stay out of all judging, and that will help you. All right. Just say, I don't know where where I am on the board. Just see a snakes and ladder board and just say, I've got no damn clue where I am every day. I don't know where I am on that board. And that will keep you out of judging. And then just do your forgiveness. Just watch your mind all day long. Just watch the ego saying things, commenting on things. Just keep in that part of your mind, the decision maker, the observer, watching it as much as you can. And just keep doing the lessons. The lessons are the key. The text is good, but the lessons are amazing because you've just got to be repeating them all day, every day, and you'll get there. You just got to do forgiveness. All the lessons have got these amazing forgiveness practices all through them. You know, it says, if you've got an upset, say this to yourself and do this. It's amazing, this workbook teachings, and, you know, it's just, people now know the gist of the course of what it's saying because there's so many teachers out there. But just listening to teachers won't do it. You need to practice it in the moment when your thoughts are, when you really get those, that ego thought ramping up, right? And then if you don't do it, you just forgive yourself, right? You just say, whoops, don't judge yourself, and apologise if you got angry or upset or said something you didn't mean. You just sign up to it and then just go back to forgiveness. So your day, this life is not about getting anything. This life is about forgiveness, day in, day out, minute by minute, and just don't try to judge where you're at, because otherwise you're going to be saying, last week I was really happy and this week I'm not. And what Jesus would be saying is that there's more darkness coming to the light, right? When you're all upset, it's a forgiveness opportunity. If you can let go and have a miracle on that particular thing that's coming up, then you'll be free of it. So therefore, you're freer, your mind's freer. So you should look at all the upsets as good things and say, good, there's something else coming up that I can shine a light on, have the miracle come in, show it to me differently. I'll have another perception and I'll get closer to this clear and quiet mind. So don't look at being upset as a bad thing. Don't judge it. Why am I upset? I wasn't upset last week. No, you got to say that it's coming up to be healed. And if you don't heal it, then it'll come up again. And it's just seeing the falseness of everything you believe. And then one day there's a moment where there's nothing left to see as false. There's no more beliefs left in your mind. There's no more stories. And you're just seeing your brother as Christ. And then you're free. The requirements of the course are done. He asks you to see everybody's sinlessness, which will make you experience your own sinlessness because nothing leaves your mind. So when everybody you see is sinless, your mind is cleared of guilt. And just practice coming to God like we did. Even in that, coming to love, peace and joy, you're really coming to God. That's really what you're doing. That's what God is, love, peace and joy. So, yeah, try not to judge yourself. Let yourself off the hook. Just really be vigilant. Don't go into any judgment about how you did. Ego is going to try and start to go, yeah, well, you did. And you just got to go, no, I'm not interested. Just like push it away. Not interested. Come into the now. So there's only now, right? Now is all there is. Like you can only be in the ego now or in the Holy Spirit now, right? Because the past is gone, the future's not here. Is always the eternal now, because it's now, and now it's now. So it's always here. The now's always here. So that's the only time you can be wherever you are in the ego or the Holy Spirit. It can only be now. So choose the Holy Spirit now. And then it gets to the stage where in the now, you're always in the Holy Spirit mind. So, you know, the past is gone and over, right? It's gone. Like if I move my hand like that, it's gone, right? It never was. If you never remembered I moved my hand, it's gone. That's the thing about this time. It's over. But all we have of time is now. Like now I'm speaking, it's always now. And that's where the joy is. The joy is always now, right? That's the only time you can experience happiness is now. You can't experience it tomorrow, 5 o'clock. Well, you might if you're in the now still, because you're always in.
Okay.
Dan, did you want to say something?
We've come to the end of our time together. Thank you, Cate. That was wonderful. Take yourself off mute and show your appreciation to Cate.
Thank you so much, Kate.
Thanks, Kate. Lovely speaking with you.
Thanks, Kate.